And joining us now, we have Matt Duncan, Senior Sustainability Science Lead with Truterra, joining us today. Matt, great to have you on the show. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us. I know we have a new pilot project to discuss between Truterra and the Soil Health Institute, and I want to dive into that more in a second. But obviously, kind of the basis of our discussion is soil health. And Matt, I'm sure you are definitely well aware, and a lot of our growers are, just how big of a topic soil health is really. I feel like it's really kind of come to the forefront with sustainability here in, say, the last 5 to 6 years throughout agriculture, hasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, for sure. The soil health topic has really been growing significantly here in the last handful of years. And, of course, being a soil scientist for 25 years, it's one of those things, have been pushing for a long time. But as far as just kind of mainstream understanding of the importance and the value of thinking about management from the soil perspective, I would totally agree. Yeah, in the last handful of years, it's really gone mainstream. Very exciting to see as a soil scientist that's kind of been trying to push that for so long, that it's really hit that level of awareness.
It definitely has. And I think about, things like carbon market programs, et cetera, and just, general stewardship of the land. All of that has kind of come together here to really push the soil health thought and agenda here across agriculture. Well, let's talk a little bit about soil health testing and this partnership, a new pilot project with the Soil Health Institute with Truterra. And I know that this is a pilot project, I believe, in Iowa. So let's talk a little bit about this and just give us the background on what this is, Matt.
Yeah, so the Truterra Sustainability Assessment, correct. We've got a pilot going in Iowa currently as we speak. And, that pilot was designed and developed through a few different ways. One, we did have a lot of data collection in the previous year in 21. That data and what we were able to see and interpret from it, along with working with Soil Health Institute, and of course, always looking at other published research and things like that to inform our direction on things. And what we've done is we've taken and tried to bring some simplicity to the concept of soil health. One of the challenges there's been over the years that soil health has kind of been making some headway is there's just so many things you could measure. And so many of those things are things that maybe in the ag industry we're not that familiar with. We have a hard time understanding, well, how do we interpret that? Okay, great, I got these numbers. What's that mean for what my next action is? And we tried to streamline that down. And so we've brought that soil health assessment down to really 6 parameters that we're reporting on that connect and evaluate the status of the health of that soil from a physical, chemical, and biological concept or portion of the soil health. Mm-hmm. And by looking at them all together, we're able to then make some actual actionable insights that lead to some good recommendations for that farm operation in how they can best look to improve their soil health status through changes in products and practices.
Well, in a way, it feels like, a lot of the testing, you had to be a soil scientist to really understand it. Now with this new soil health assessment, it makes it a little bit easier for farmers to kind of maybe grasp and understand, doesn't it, Matt?
Yes, for sure. The one of the primary goals of this soil health assessment through Truterra was to make it more intuitive to any person, whether it be the farmer, an ag retailer, that sees that report, where it's not just showing a bunch of data. It's actually showing, hey, here's the data and here's what it means. Here's the things that have the biggest potential impact on this farm should you enact that change. So that was really our primary goal, was to make it a little more intuitive for everybody that could be involved in looking at those data sets.
Well, and just thinking about, again, the health of our soil, having more data than not is so crucial, Matt. So if, farmers, retailers could work with, folks like yourself at Truterra, et cetera, to really understand their soil, we hopefully can improve, not only profitability, obviously grow a great crop, but just look at the cost structure as well. I'd have to think, there's so many things that kind of go into this throughout agriculture, and there's just a lot to take in, Matt.
Definitely. And one of the things that I always like to bring back to the table, the other thing, we're talking about soil health, regenerative ags, another term we hear a lot. And all of that has value and can provide some guidance. But the way I look at it is that it still needs to be sustainable and sustainable from multiple fronts. So there's sustainable from the production level side, right? We can't be losing production level as population grows, or having to utilize more acres to get the same amount of production. It's got to be economically sustainable to the farm operation and those involved in making sure that runs. And then, of course, the thing we typically are talking about on this subject matter is the environmental component, right? The soil health, the water and air quality, and greenhouse gases and those types of things. But it is true that we have to keep all three of those things in mind: the economics, the production, and the environment when we're looking at soil health or carbon programs or any of these other practices.
Now, I mentioned the pilot in Iowa. I should have also mentioned, I know as well, I believe the pilots in Missouri and Kansas, and you guys are looking to expand this as we get into 2023 with different pilot projects, aren't you, Matt?
Correct. Yeah. For 22, we've got the pilot running in Iowa. And then for 23, we're expanding to hundreds of thousands of acres throughout about 6 or 7 states. So that will include Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. And so, if there's people interested in that program, in participating in that program, the first thing I would tell farmers to do is check with your local ag retailer, see if they're affiliated with Truterra and Land O'Lakes, and if they are, they can get us through there. If not, they can easily just go to truterraag.com and learn more, as well as about the program, as well as how to contact someone if they've got more questions.
Fantastic. Matt, before I let you go, anything else you want to make sure we mention about the soil health assessment and just the great work you guys are doing with Truterra?
Well, one thing I would like to point out, and it's the thing that I think is pretty differentiating for what we're doing compared to what a lot of people have probably seen in soil health analysis reports, and that is that we're bringing a local context to those values. And what I mean by that is we can get a reading for something, say, like CO2 respiration, very common analysis for pretty much any soil health test you're going to see. But that numbers, the numeric value, whether that value is good or bad, is really relative, and it's relative to the environment that field sits in. How much moisture you get in the year, what's your temperature regime, those types of things, crop rotations, topography, and all that. And it's also relevant to the inherent soil characteristics. And so that was a big part of what we did with the Soil Health Institute and the collaboration we did with them is they've helped us to bring that locally relevant context so we can actually say, hey, yeah, this is the number, and here's what it means. You are low, moderate, high relative to what your environment and soil type allows it to be. And so it helps us to focus in on the right pieces that need improvement versus having to make little broader guesses about what those numbers mean.
Well, great stuff, and definitely things for farmers to consider. And as Matt mentioned, you can learn more at truterraag.com or contact your local ag retailer. Matt, appreciate a few minutes of your time here today. Thanks for joining us and telling us more, and we will hopefully talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Jesse.